Coming up this midday, assessing what happened with the Cougs. We'll tell you how people are feeling after the Cougs fell to the Utes.
Plus, the annual Harvest Festival is tomorrow. We'll take a look at all the events going on all over town. Those stories and more right now on Murrow News 8.
West Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University. This is Murrow News 8.
Good afternoon, I'm Grady Glover.
And I'm DJ Rodman. Thank you for joining us on Murrow News 8.
Cougs are expressing lots of mixed feelings, including a little optimism after last night's football loss to the University of Utah. Murrow News 8 reporter Alex McCollum went down to the RV parking lot next to BC Coliseum to hear from some fans on their thoughts from the game.
Disappointing, for sure.
It was horrible. Yeah.
A little bit of a disappointing loss.
Cougs should have been throwing the ball down the field.
It's moving the ball downfield. I didn't see too much of that.
The officiating wasn't very good, and I thought our play calling also wasn't that great.
Stanford is completely beatable. It'd be great to win from here on out.
You know, at the end of the day, I'm here to support them, and, I thought the Cougs did great.
It was a busy day for Pullman Police yesterday. 2 overdoses occurred in the last 24 hours, one happening at 11:30 last night in the 730 block of California Street. The individual was transferred to Pullman Regional Hospital. Earlier this morning, there was another overdose on Rainy Way. That individual was also transported to Pullman Regional. It is unclear at this time what they overdosed on or the current condition of the patients. Drug overdose is an epidemic and has the highest kill rate in the United States. Tomorrow is Drug Take-Back Day, and in Pullman, the Pullman Police Department is offering a free and secure prescription drug drop-off box. This service will be available every day, year-round, at 260 Southeast Kamaikan Street. Also, the Latah County Sheriff's Department is taking part in this movement as well. There will be officers at Potlatch, Troy, and Genesee grocery store from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Every year, that Sheriff's Department collects about 200 pounds of prescription drugs.
Now, Halloween is Monday night. I know I got my costume ready, and many businesses are also getting ready for festivities that are going on tomorrow. Murrow News 8's Diego Moctezuma has more on the story.
Awesome. Now, you can't see much right now, but all these businesses down on the street, on Main Street here, are hosting trick-or-treat events where kids can go all over the street right here tonight, starting really at 3 o'clock. And most businesses, over 40 businesses, are going to be helping kids get candy and all that. So it is going to be a great night here in Pullman for this festival. Awesome. That's all I got for you. Back to you guys at the desk.
Back on campus, the entrance to Owen Library is partially obstructed. Now, construction by the front entrance of the library does not block the main entrance, and the Owen Library told Murrow News 8 that the construction currently has no end date in sight, but you can still enter the library if you follow the arrows on the fence. The construction is replacing old concrete that had cracks in it, and the damage was so bad that it had become dangerous to those walking by. Now, you've probably noticed that flu season is fast approaching. My own roommate just got sick this week, and sickness all over seems to be on the rise. The Spokesman Review reports that RSV infections are spiking across the state. Both influenza and COVID-19 are spreading as well. However, Washington State Secretary of Health Umar Shah offers this encouragement.
While we are all concerned about what may lie ahead, we're nowhere where things were the last 2 years or even last year.
Officials suggest to be careful in big crowds and to stay home if you're sick in order to stay healthy this fall and get updated flu and COVID-19 vaccines. Coming up, a look at a new attraction opening soon on the Palouse.
Looking for something family-friendly for Halloween weekend or something more spicy? We'll walk you through all the other Halloween events on the Palouse when Murrow 8 News continues.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
So I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
WSU's vocal extravaganza is tonight. According to WSU Events website, the extravaganza will feature 4 ensembles accompanied by pianist Elena Pachenko. The opera workshop is performing scenes from Orpheus of the Underworld, and the choral ensemble will sing songs about nighttime stars and sleep. The university singers and tremble choir will also perform pieces. The extravaganza starts at 7:30 tonight in Bryan Hall Theater, and it's free and open to the public.
It's almost winter on the Palouse, and that means it's time to break out those ice skates. The new Palouse ice rink is planned to open next month. They're hosting a gala at their new facility tonight, and tickets are already sold out. The goal of tonight's auction will be to raise funds for phase 2 of their construction, which is to build more locker rooms. The brand new $7 million facility is set to open in the next 2 weeks.
There are a lot of Halloween events happening on the Palouse this year. This year is different than the past couple. People are getting out and are more comfortable starting trick-or-treating again. There are events happening in Moscow, Colfax, and right here on campus as well. Today, there is a trick-or-treat event on Main Street in Colfax from 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., and there are 50 businesses that will be participating in this event. And tomorrow, the last farmers market in Moscow is holding a costume contest. It begins at 9 a.m. and ends at noon. There were awesome events yesterday, one of them being the Gladish Trunk or Treat event, followed by a haunted house. If you went to any of these, send us a picture and you can be on TV. Halloween is only 3 days away, and we are seeing more traditions around the Palouse. What is happening around? Well, Gabby Duarte has the story.
Prepare to get scared in Palouse, Washington. Haunted Palouse is a community-led event that's been happening for over a decade.
There's a lot of different people doing a lot of different jobs, and tons of people pitch in to help in a lot of different ways.
This is Haunted Palouse's first year back after the pandemic, and community members have put their heart and soul into the spook.
So there's 3 main events. There's one haunted house in the museum, our printing museum here. There's one haunted house in our police station, and then we have a zombie hunt up on, we call it Shady Lane. That's its actual name, not its haunt name.
The zombie hunt is their newest and most popular attraction.
Right now I'm gearing up to go hunt some zombies in the Palouse.
Because there's zombies that you won't see, and you've got to kill them. And it's the only way you're going to get through the city. No, uh-oh, wait. Who brought these bodies in here? What is going on?
It's been really exciting to see it come back.
It's happening this upcoming weekend on Friday and Saturday night, and tickets will be sold at the event for $35, cash only, between 7 and 10 p.m. Reporting from Pullman, I'm Gabby Durante, Murrow News 8.
If you're planning on trick-or-treating this Halloween, the Pullman Police Department has a few tips for this weekend and especially on Monday night. Now, always keep young children attended to, and you can always give your kids flashlights to help them be more seen, and also never take homemade treats or drinks from any houses. A personal tip from me is to find the houses that give out the best candy and go back to those ones a couple different times.
Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson is joining other attorney generals and labor unions in criticizing a $4 billion payout to shareholders of Albertsons and Kroger as they look to merge. Local unions say their concern is that prices could go up, and they would rather Albertsons spend the money to lower them. Albertsons says that their planned merger with Kroger will provide benefits to everyone involved, including workers, customers, and communities. The companies have until 5 p.m. today to tell the attorney generals whether they will or won't pay the $4 billion payout.
Also in Washington, on Wednesday, a state judge fined the Facebook parent company Meta almost $25 million for intentionally and repeatedly violating campaign finance disclosure law. Now, Washington General Bob Ferguson says that they gave Meta the largest fine possible because they fined them for the exact same thing back in 2018. Meta has unsuccessfully argued in court that the laws they're violating are virtually impossible to comply with.
The National Transportation Safety Board is reporting that a mechanical failure caused the float plane crash that killed 10 people near Wind Bay Island. According to AP News, a critical part to keep the plane stable came apart, which caused the stabilizer to rotate and the plane to crash. According to Cairo TV, the safety board is recommending an FAA and Transport Canada requires all operators of this type of plane Canada DHC-3 prop plane to inspect the part to prevent more tragedy. All 10 people aboard the plane died in the crash, including the pilot.
Now with temperatures getting cooler, you're probably doing anything you can to stay warm. Here's some things you need to know before plugging in those space heaters.
And how many layers are you going to need for Halloween weekend? We'll tell you just how cool it's going to get. Stick with us.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah! Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
It's okay to be scared. You don't have to be so strong.
Strength is not optional. This is my mother, my purpose. Real muscle is lifting her spirits between bedpans and bad news from doctors that doubt her strength. Strength is buried in bills, managing meds, and swallowing those moments of, Mom, it's me, your daughter. Remember? My strength is super, but I'm still human, right?
Look who's here. There she is. Thanks for your patience.
How you feel?
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 1-877-333-5885.
As the weather gets cooler, we are seeing the use of portable heaters in households again, with myself included. The City of Poland released on Facebook safety tips to help with the dangers of portable heaters. Keeping anything that can burn at least 3 feet away. Do not want anything causing house fires. If you are a parent or watch over kids, also set up a 3-foot kid-free zone. Turn off heaters when unsupervised due to potential fires catching when nobody is home or everyone is asleep. Lastly, to plug heaters into the wall directly. They strongly advise no power strips or extension cords.
Now Noah, me and my roommates, we made a pact just to avoid that space heater problem. We said we're not going to turn on the heaters until snow starts sticking on the ground. It's getting really cold. How much longer am I going to have to hold out?
Well, I mean, we had a surprise snow on Monday, and so I feel like that was a good excuse to pull it out at one point. But looking forward on our forecast, we're going to have another snow, and that's really exciting for those of us that like snow angels, like myself. So looking at today's forecast, what we're going to see, temperatures right around the mid-50s for the most part. That's what the high is. We're going to see that tomorrow as well, but staying on today a little bit longer, the low for today and tomorrow is going to stay right around 40 degrees. Now those wind speeds today specifically, it says 13 miles per hour, and that's what it is right about now. But it could get fast enough to get a ticket in a school zone. 21 miles per hour is the high. Looking at tomorrow, like I said, it's going to stay pretty similar to what it is today. Now, there's a volleyball game tonight at around 7 p.m. You're going to want to bundle up. If you're doing anything tomorrow for Halloween festivities the weekend before, you're definitely going to want to bundle up as well. Now, looking at the state of Washington, what we're seeing is those northern cities in Washington, Seattle. We see Pullman, we see Spokane. Those cities are going to be right around 56, the mid-50s. Those lows are going to be anywhere in the range of the 40s. Now, looking at those lower cities, you look at Tri-Cities, you look at Yakima, it's those temperatures where you might want to wear a hoodie rather than a rain jacket, whereas in Seattle, in Pullman, you might want to bring out those rain jackets because we're going to start to see some precipitation moving forward. Now, looking at that 5-day forecast, this is where things get interesting. We're starting to monitor as temperatures get lower and lower towards freezing temperatures at night. So today and tomorrow, we're not going to see too much rain, not too much precipitation, but it wouldn't be the first time Mother Nature lied to us. Now, looking at those next days, we're going to see some rain Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Grady, that's what we were talking about when you might want to bring out that space heater. There's a chance at snow. 43 degrees is the high, 26 the low. It's those temperatures where you're going to want to bring out those puffer jackets if you're you're from the west side, you're going to want to take those water bottles out of the car overnight. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Noah. Well, the weather has changed rapidly. It's only a matter of time until snow really starts falling. We got a preview earlier this week, but being underprepared for the snow can be a problem. Thankfully, our own Linan Ruiz has that covered.
The first snow of the season this past Monday, October 24th, has students pushing, falling, and slipping into this Pullman winter.
And it's coming sooner than you think. Snow is on the forecast for next Thursday, November 3rd in Pullman.
The main mode of transportation for students, it's walking. Most students walk.
I don't have any snow prepared shoes. I just kind of hope that I don't slip. And I go up the steep stairs, so I'm afraid that they'll be slippery and then I'll just eat shit like every morning.
Now, when it comes to winter or winter driving conditions, things just slow down. You know, you could go out and stand out and wait for a bus, or you can walk. That's another way to go.
According to Chris Boyan, WSU's Director of Transportation, PT Bus Beacon is one of the ways the students can make sure that they get to the bus stop on time to get to and from campus.
PT Bus Beacon allows you to choose a route, track the buses on that route, and even see how long it will take for the bus to get to each stop.
So we're just students, plan ahead a little bit, give yourself a little more time to hop on a bus and get to class on time.
But for students that walk, like Leslie Nunez, WSU Alerts can help keep you up to date about road and walkway closures on your way to campus, so you don't end up slipping a little too hard.
I'm going to be walking a lot slower, especially up the stairs, or I might just take a completely new route. I don't know yet.
In Pullman, I'm Lannon Ruiz, Murrow News 8.
Coming up, Emmett Savora is going to break down what went wrong during last night's game versus the Utes.
And a busy weekend for Cougar Athletics, including a top 10 program paying a visit. We'll tell you who's playing and when. Your sports report when Murrow News 8 returns in 90 seconds.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Welcome back to Murrow News 8. I'm Emmett Savoras with sports. Let's take a look at some highlights from last night's football game. Number 14, Utah, here in Pullman at Giesa Field and Martin Stadium against the Cougs. No Cam Rising, though. Let's pick it up in the second quarter. Cam Ward going deep, deep, deep. He's got DeJon Stribling. Touchdown. Cougs going to go up 7-0. That's Stribling's 5th touchdown of the season. Again, the defender did fall, but the Cougs take a 7-0 lead. Look at this. But as we move into the end of the half, 30 seconds left. Huge stop by Brennan Jackson on 3rd down and 2. That brings up 4th down. But wait! A targeting called on Brennan Jackson. He's ejected from the game. Not only does that put it 1st and goal for the Utes, it also puts 30 seconds back on the clock. Utah will wind up scoring a touchdown from the 1-yard line on a 1-yard carry by Jalen Glover. 14-7 Utah in the, going into the half. The Cougs and Utes would trade second half touchdowns, but here is the play of the game. 55 seconds left, 4th and 7. Barnes drops back and is picked off by Shao Smith-Wade. WSU will have a chance to win this game,
But wait! A holding on Sean Smith-Wade. First down Utes, and that is going to end the game. Here's Coach Jake Dickert and what he had to say about the penalty on Jackson.
And the replay I saw in BJ's play, I mean, the guy's in a bent position. It's tough. I mean, he's making a big physical tackle. You'd love to see him slide his head over. I got to see it on tape. But you got to deal with those things. And they happen both ways, and things don't go your way. It's how you respond to them.
Ward calls his own number. End zone touchdown.
Yesterday, I said some of the keys to the game for WSU was to be able to get pressure on the Utah quarterback. Again, Cam Rising didn't play, but the backup Barnes for Utah was in. They weren't supposed to turn the ball over, and they were supposed to use the run game. The Cougs failed on every element of E's keys for the game. They only got 1 sack on backup quarterback Bryson Barnes. They turned the ball over twice, and they only ran for 42 yards. Not a successful weekend for the Cougs in football, and it wasn't a successful weekend or a successful Thursday for the WSU soccer team. Cougar soccer went up against the first-ranked Bruins, the top 10, the number 1 ranked UCLA Bruins in Los Angeles, and they didn't score a goal. The Cougs were outshot 26-6 in their 1-0 loss last night. UCLA has now won 16 of their past 17 games this season, while soccer's cold streak continues for WSU. They have not scored a goal in any of their last 3 games, and they have not won any of their last 6, going 0-4-2 in those games. The Cougs do have a chance to return from SoCal with a better result as they face off against number 18 USC, who has not lost since October 6th. That game is at noon on Sunday on Pac-12 Network. Big weekend at home for WSU volleyball as they take on number 8 Stanford tonight, and then Cal on Sunday. WSU is on a 3-match win streak, their second longest winning streak of the season, after wins over Utah, Arizona, and most recently Arizona State. Meanwhile, the Cardinal have won 8 straight matches and have only lost 4 on the entire season. All of these losses coming against ranked opponents. The Cougs faced Stanford once earlier this month and lost 3-1. The Cougs could not be running into Cal at a better time, though. The Golden Bears have not won a match since September 17th, losing 10 in a row, including a WSU sweep back on September 30th. Let's move it to baseball. The World Series starts tonight, and once again, the representative from the American League is the Houston Astros. The cheaters, Astros, will be facing off against the Philadelphia Phillies, who are on an improbable run to the NL pennant. How improbable was it? Not only did they end an 11-year playoff drought, but they wouldn't have even been in the playoffs any other year because of the MLB playoff expansion. On the mound for Game 1 for the Astros is likely AL Cy Young winner Justin Verlander, while the Phillies are going to start Aaron Nola. First pitch at 5:03 p.m. on Fox. Although the Mariners aren't in the World Series this year, after their season ended earlier this month, they're working on making some additions to play some November baseball. That cheering is the sound of Mariner fans after the team's ALDS loss to the Houston Astros last weekend, which knocked them out of the playoffs. The M's made the playoffs for the first time since 2001 this year, leaving fans with optimism.
The Mariners last year were incredibly lucky. They did not have a 90-win roster, and they squeaked by. But this year, they went out and they made some massive additions in both the offseason and the regular season, which helped this team really look like by July, like this team's making the playoffs.
The Mariners made moves last year for Eugenio Suarez, Jesse Winker, Robbie Ray, Adam Frazier, and Luis Castillo, but this offseason is just getting started. The Mariners' offseason plans start with trying to improve at second base. But the problem is, all the key free agents play shortstop. But this doesn't bother Jerry DiPoto, the Mariners' president of baseball operations, as they seem to have a plan going into free agency.
Our great preference would be that we could land a shortstop that would like to go play second base. You know, JP is our shortstop. You know, he's an emotional leader for us. He'll line up for us opening day on shortstop, and the goal is to find someone to put around him. You know, and if we do find someone who plays shortstop, that person could very likely move to second base. One Mariners fan has his sights set on who he wants the Mariners to add.
My favorite option is Carlos Correa. That's my top guy. I think that he's an elite shortstop and is one of the best in the game. I think he's someone that wouldn't move to second, so that's something that you're going to have to deal with. But literally any of those top 4 shortstops, you have to throw money at. You have to get one of them. Bogarts, Swanson, Carlos Correa, or Trey Turner would all be fantastic additions this offseason.
In Pullman, I'm Emmett Savoris, Murrow News 8.
Back here in Pullman, lots of other WSU sports this weekend. So stay with me. WSU cross country competed in the Pac-12 championships earlier this morning in Riverside, California. We're still waiting on the official results for all of the races, including WSU. Swim has a home weekend as they face off against number 2 Stanford tonight at 5 p.m. at the Gig Pool. And you might not even want to leave because tomorrow, on Saturday, 10 a.m., they will face off against Northern Colorado, which you can also watch on WSUCougars.com. Tennis is going to finish their season at the Baylor Invitational in Waco, Texas later today, with all the matches being held at the Hurt Tennis Center. And finally, rowing will be competing against UCLA and Oregon State and Cal and 7 other schools at the head of the American beginning at the Sacramento Aquatic Center at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow. And that's your sports report. We'll be right back.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Yesterday morning, over 700 pounds of bologna and cheese were seized by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Officers in El Paso, Texas say that the merchandise was not properly registered as being from out of the country. They say some of the bologna was hidden in a toolbox and under a blanket. The driver was fined $1,000 on the spot. El Paso Customs and Border Portal Director Ray Pavencio says that pork products can bring foreign animal diseases if not properly examined.
And it's National Chocolate Day, probably one of the top 5 national days of the year. And something I remember from a couple discussions ago is that, Emmett, you don't even like chocolate, but I see you over here with a Reese's. So that's really interesting, but I really appreciate Chocolate Day is going to do just wondrous things for us. That's going to do it for us this afternoon. If you missed anything in this or any of our other previous newscasts, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel.
More news can be found at nwpv.org/mn8, and you can follow us on social media at Murrow News 8. Have a great day.